Hey, it's me, Brooks. Welcome to Heal This. I just wanted to check in with you. It's been a little while, but I am working on a lot of things and I'm excited to bring them to you. One of the things that I have found is the emotion code. It has really changed a lot of the things that I'm doing in my office, and I've seen huge results for myself and for others. And I wanted to just give you a little background story on that. Some of this is a repeat from some of the other episodes, but I'm kind of bringing it all together for what I'm doing to help people release trauma and emotions from the body. When I was trying to figure out what to do with my life shortly after my divorce, about 5 years ago, I was introduced to energy work and Reiki as being one of the energy work modalities. And so I started to investigate into what energy work was. It really piqued my interest. And so I started to just look into it, listen to things, and ask questions. And for me, I have always been really intuitive. There's things that have always happened for me that along the way just got discounted and discarded, and I wasn't really listening to the messages that I was receiving and how I could see things because they didn't really fit into my religion, to be honest. So I started to at this point, 5 years ago, I started to really look into it and to really listen. And I started to notice that there were things for me and my intuition that were coming through for other people. So I decided to take a Reiki class and learn more about Reiki. Now, Reiki is an energy healing modality where I am connecting to source, God, a higher power, all in love and light. I'm only trying to help people. And so I only want to connect to good things. I start there and then I basically check in with your chakras and make sure that your chakras are in alignment. And chakras are energy wheels that are located along the base of your spine, all the way along your spine, all the way up to the top of your head, which would be your crown chakra. Every single energy wheel has something to do with parts of your body, but also parts of your energy. And so going in and basically balancing all of that, and I am just adding light to your body to help healing. Your body knows how to heal. You know what you need. And I'm basically just adding a little bit more energy to you so that you can heal. And you can think of it as like if you were going to build a fire, you wouldn't just use one stick, right? You'd kind of use a collection of sticks to kind of start the fire. And I'm just adding a little bit more energy to your energy to help heal. And when I'm doing that, I am also receiving messages for you, which is not typically Reiki. That is part of my intuition and my intuitive gifts. And I didn't really understand what was happening at first because, one, I thought everybody was seeing this exact same thing that I was seeing or hearing or feeling or smelling or experiencing. I also thought I didn't need to bring it up because I figured everybody was getting the same thing. But then once I attended an actual Reiki class, I realized that not everybody is seeing something and not everyone is hearing or experiencing something or even the same thing. Energetically, we can experience similarities in the energy. And a lot of times when that is confirmed with other readers, it's great to know that oh, good, cool. I was in your energy receiving messages for you because that doesn't really make sense for me. So, but once I started taking Reiki classes, I realized that this is something I really wanted to do as a occupation. And at the same time, I decided to pursue my massage therapy license. Now I am certified to do Reiki. I'm also licensed to do massage. and I start seeing clients. And when this happens, I start realizing that I am seeing pictures and receiving messages for them. And that is at first really confusing. And I'm hoping that we're going to have more conversations about intuition, intuitive gifts and abilities, and what that looks like, and how you can perfect them, or how you can strengthen them, and how we can use those to benefit us in our everyday life or in our occupation. For instance, the first couple of times that I receive messages, they look like a story that's playing in my head, but they're not my story. They're not my memories. And so I'm not really sure what it is or what the message is. And so a lot of times I will just say, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm feeling. And usually the client will say, oh, yeah, I know what that is. Or that was me when I was a kid. Or, yeah, I just started doing all of that. For instance, I might see someone painting with watercolors, and I don't do that. That's not mine. And so if I bring that up and then they say, oh, yeah, um, actually, my husband and I just started doing that. And I'm like, cool. Okay, that means I'm in your energy, that I'm reading your energy. Sorry, I feel like I'm all over the place today. So before I start, I always, even the day before, I'm saying a prayer or I'm meditating on the clients or the people that I'm seeing, and just preparing myself to see what kind of energy there is that I'm, trying to help someone with. And before I come into the room, I connect to source, and then I ask if it's okay if I come in. And I'm also asking if I can come into the room. So it's kind of a blend of the two, into the room and into your energy. And as I do that, a lot of the times people say yes, because they've signed up to come to see me, and that's what they're there for. I proceed to ask if there's any messages for them. But I also am placing my hands on their back very gently, or on their head very gently. And by doing that, I really am in their energy, and messages are coming through for them. And so that looks like me seeing pictures for them, or feelings, or words, or thoughts. And a lot of times people get really nervous about this, because no, I cannot read your thoughts, but I can read your energy. So, for instance, if you're feeling really bad about something, I'm going to pick up on that. If you're really excited about something, I'm going to pick up on that. I'm not going to, word for word, know exactly what you're thinking or feeling. I only see what you allow me to. So, most of the time when people are coming in for help, it's because they are wanting to know something. They're wanting to know what their blocks are. They're wanting to know what this pain is. They're wanting to know how to progress somehow. And so, or they're hoping to connect to someone or something and put some dots together, if that makes sense. So, of course, I'm going to be able to read that energy that's coming through. And I always like to explain it to people that, for me, it's like seeing the back of a tapestry or something that's been embroidered. I see the knots, I see the loose strings, I see, vaguely what the picture looks like, but you see the full picture. For instance, like, I might get that you are having a lot of angst, or maybe not really getting along with someone who's at the peer level. And for the peer level, that might be someone like a sibling or a friend, or like even a cousin, someone that's connected to you somehow, but they are not above you or below you, if that makes sense. Above you might be like your parents, or your aunts and uncles, or your grandparents. Or if I can see it a little bit differently, sometimes I might feel like it's your boss, right? And below you, of course, would be your children, or someone that's younger than you, like a younger sibling, a much younger sibling, or someone else's, like your friend's child or something like that. Somehow you're connected to them, but they're younger than you. So anyway, I might see it, but I don't understand the exact relationship unless they come forward and tell me I am her grandma or something like that, which has happened several times. So, and I have not signed up to be a medium. That's not exactly what I do, although I do see spirit and speak to spirit. But it's not something I wanted to do on a regular basis because my gifts are in the area of really understanding what is holding someone back. And that has taken me a lot of practice. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about and a really long way around this story. So when I started to receive messages for people, I didn't really understand what was happening. And then after we would talk for a little while, I would understand, oh, this is yours. Oh, this is really holding you back. You're having a hard time with this. Oh, okay. But before that, I really just didn't understand, and it took me a while. And also, spirit does not speak to us extremely clear all the time. And what I mean by that is sometimes they use symbols or analogies or memories to show us something. And when they do that, it's kind of like having to go back to that moment and go, oh, I know what they're trying to show me here. They're trying to show me how I felt in that moment, or what was going on there is happening for them too. So it has taken me a while. The practice, your practice, right? You are practicing the things that are becoming your practice. The verb becomes the noun. Like a doctor has a practice, right? And so this is my practice, right? And that practice is that I read energy. And people ask me all the time, how did you know that? And I just think, your body told me. It's pretty simple for me. I just I plug into source, and then I plug into your energy, and then we just go from there. And it's supposed to only make sense to you. It really won't all the way make sense to me most of the time until you explain it to me. Then I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I started to understand that specific things were being held in specific parts of the body. So, for instance, everybody has stuff right through here, through the back of their head, the back of their neck, around to their shoulders, and sometimes even through this area. And I started to realize that taking specific different practices. So, chakras, right? This is your throat chakra. This is where we speak our truth. This is where things can get stuck, and you can't live your truth if you don't speak your truth. So, when you are stuck with speaking your truth, you're not actually living your truth. So, you have the throat chakra area, but also through many years of research, Louise Hay has documented all of the energy that has landed in parts of our body. And if you go and check out her book, You Can Heal Your Life, you can see that she has documented parts of the back of the neck right up through here where a lot of people have a lot of pain, and obviously throat, mouth, all that kind of stuff. Taking all of that information, also understanding that everything has two sides to it, right? Um, our body has a masculine side and a feminine side. So it's actually the right side is the masculine side and the left side is the feminine side. The right side can also represent the letting go of something or the past of something, like it has already happened. So that's the masculine side, the right side of our body. The left side of our body is the feminine side of our body, and it can represent also present or something currently happening or in this life happening, or the receiving side. So what that means to me is that if something comes in on the left side, it's current. You are currently receiving it in present time or recently. So, or it has feminine qualities. So these are all really in like, these are all the details that I have spent a lot of time focusing on and trying to understand. So then on the right side, again, if something is on the right side and it comes in, you would look at it and say, okay, this is something you're trying to process and let go of. Like you've processed it, but you haven't processed it all the way to let it go. You're stuck at the let go, or this has happened a long time ago, or maybe not even in this life. And so the energy is stuck on that right side. But if you take all of those things together, for instance, if something lands right here and they're like, oh, it hurts right through here, I'll say, okay, so the right side of your neck is you letting go of something that happened a while ago. It's not present or current, and it is in your truth center. So it's something you need to speak or write or somehow release from your body. So that's kind of how I started to figure out how things were trapped in the body and that your body would hurt in specific ways. Now, everybody can have different pain for different reasons. I always say if you did 100 squats yesterday, your legs are going to be sore, right? I mean, most of us. If you do 100 bicep curls, your biceps are going to be sore. That would make sense that in the physical form, you exerted a lot of exercise into that one area. But if you wake up and you're like, I have no idea why this is hurting me, like what's going on? I don't understand. And it's really hurting me. And a lot of people are tight. They have a lot of tightness like in their neck. But if it's painful, then we got to ask why, right? So anyway, those are the tools that I'm using. And after a little while, I started to also realize that not only is there current or past stuff, trauma, or not even just trauma, like just things we're processing coming into our body, things we're letting go, things we're trying to understand, financial obligations, stress or pain or hurt from somebody else. So you'll literally feel those things in your body. And sometimes they get trapped there. And I started to hear emotions that were trapped in our body. And I'd put my hands on someone to just palpate. And all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, they have rejection stuck in their back, or feeling unsupported, or, financial stress or whatever. And so I started to really feel like, okay, emotions are trapped in our body and trauma is trapped in our body. But also, sometimes really great things can be trapped in our body because we don't really know how to process overjoy because we're not really overjoyed all the time. So it's something that if we're really excited or really happy about something, it can still be stuck. So I started to wonder about all of this and try to understand how I can help people to release it. Our cells are little tiny brains and computers, and they know us, they believe us. So everything we're telling them, even if we are unaware that we are continuing to tell ourselves, that I'm worthless, I'm unsupported, I've been betrayed and rejected, those are the things that our cells are going to vibrate at. We are vibrations, and our frequency is at those particular things, then the law of attraction says that we will continue to call those things into our life. And so understanding all of that and putting it into practice, I actually had a friend walk into my office and hand me the Emotion Code book by Dr. Bradley Nelson. And I was like, what is this? And she said, you have to read it because this is what you do already. You just didn't know it. And I'm like, get out of here. This is amazing. So right away I read it and yes, it all made sense. And I'm like, thank you. So that I can actually, up my game a little bit. So the practice of the emotion code is that I do the exact same process, right? I'm saying a short prayer, connecting to source, and I'm connecting to your energy. I ask if I can come in. And then through muscle testing, which is me connecting to your subconscious mind, which is 95% of every single thing we do, dictates our actions and pretty much our whole life. The other 5% is, part of the conscious mind. Your subconscious mind knows everything about you and has no other choice but to tell me the truth. And so as I ask, do you have trapped emotions in your body that we can release today that are contributing to, and we put in that space, which I have learned that the more specific you are, the better the results are. For instance, if you're struggling with headaches all the time or a lot of pain in a specific part of your body, I can do the emotion code on that and ask your body if there are trapped emotions that are contributing to that pain or those headaches. But after a little while, if you're still having them, what I've noticed is it actually the emotions causing the headache, or is the emotions causing anxiety that's then causing the headaches? So then I might backtrack and I might ask, are the trapped emotions causing anxiety that's causing the headache? So if that makes sense, I have learned to get really specific in there and really tweak it. So when I ask you, you tell me yes or no. And that's where the muscle testing comes in. And that's where this practice of listening, even though it is a practice of physical confirmation, yes or no, it's also a hearing and a knowing that happens. And through doing that, I can actually ask that emotion to come forward, say, what type of emotion is this? How was it caused? Can I get a year that it was trapped? Can I have a relationship that it was, shared with or inherited by? And so once we do all of that and we use the process that's in the book, then we can release the emotion. Now, what I have seen with this has been tremendous results. It's amazing. You don't have to go back to that time period and even feel it. And sometimes you're not even going to realize why it got trapped, because this is what I've learned also. When something happens, like for instance, your boss does something that really makes you really upset, you usually don't have one emotion in that time. It's kind of like a ball of emotions are presented to you, right? It's like, it doesn't really happen that way, but I'm just trying to explain it in the sense that, at first you might be really angry, but what are you really feeling? Oh, I'm feeling judged. Oh, I'm feeling unsupported. I'm feeling rejected. I'm feeling, all of these, like insecurity, unworthy, right? Like you'll start to feel all those things, but we don't actually process all of the emotions. We just process kind of the first few emotions that come up, and the rest of them we tuck into ourselves and they land in spots in our body that hurt, because they're there to teach us something. They're there to say, hey, I really need you to look at this, because the reason why you felt that way is because I want you to learn something about yourself, that you are supported, that no, you're not rejected. It's okay. Like, learn to love yourself and find support in yourself and start looking at the emotions of self instead of maybe the way you're reacting at something that happened. And that is where, for me and my practice, I'm able to do coaching at that point, because I can remove emotions and I can help you release trauma. But it's the thought process that changes everything, because if you go right back into the thought process of I'm unworthy, then that's what your cells are going to believe. And that is where you're going to be vibrationally, and your frequency is going to be. So it's kind of this whole thing, right? It's the holistic mind, body, soul thing that I'm trying to practice and bring forward so that everyone can and do it, right? And we can heal this. That's what we're trying to do. And the more that we look within ourselves and start loving ourselves and truly loving ourselves and truly being our true authentic self, we want that for other people too. We want other people to know that you can be happy and joyful. And yeah, there's some really crappy things happening, but how can we heal it? How can we heal what's going on? And we have to come from a place of love. We need to continually look at things through the lens of love and abundance and gratitude, not through the lens of darkness and there's bad stuff happening. Yeah, there is. Acknowledge it. Know that it's there. But we want to come from a place of love. So some of the results that I have seen with the emotion code have really been amazing. Sometimes we get stuck in this loop of thinking, and it really kind of dictates our whole life, right? Like, if this happens, then this happens, and then this, and then I'm going to feel this way, and then I'm stuck. When you are in pain, you know it right away. But when you're feeling good, it kind of sneaks in, and you're like, oh, yeah, I haven't felt that way in a while. So, on my own self, I've been able to let go of things that I was really stuck on, that were really holding me back. Other people I've seen pain go away, and it's not the very second I release all of the emotions. It is over a little bit of time, and sometimes it takes multiple sessions, but the pain will ease off, and then one day you kind of go, oh yeah, I don't have that anymore. But through everything else that clients were trying, they could not get it to go away. There's really nothing you have to do on your part. Your part is just relaxing and letting me ask you if there's any trapped emotions that we can release today. And sometimes that for me, comes with other messages. And other times it's basically just your body and your subconscious mind are ready to release those emotions. So nothing else will come with it. But I will tell you this, it has been a huge game changer, and I have seen huge results. So I'm really excited to share it with you. And I usually use that with some of the other modalities that I have, such as intuitive body reading and Reiki, and also coaching. And I think it's working pretty well. So I hope you'll come check it out. Go to healthisholistic.com and make an appointment to come see me, or do virtual. We can do that too. I've worked with a lot of people over, um, you know, our virtual setup, and it still works. So it's pretty amazing. Have a good day.